Our guest today is Zvi Yechezkeli. Zvi is one of Israel's leading journalists on the Arab and Islamic world. He speaks Arabic fluently and went undercover inside mosques, schools, and radical Islamist groups in the Middle East and Europe. For over 30 years, he covered jihad, terrorism, and ideological warfare from Oslo to October 7th. Zvi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
In simple words, what is happening right now in Iran? Why do we see 12,000 people slaughtered? Are these protests bigger than before, or are they the same as past protests? What are your thoughts?
First, we're seeing historical things and events in Iran, because for the first time, there is a real challenge for the Ayatollah regime. Why now? Because, there are 47 years already from the revolution since 1979. So what's new? The new that after the Israeli strike, the 12 days war, the regime is weak. He's now is in with his back to the wall. And now we see the people, the Iranian people, unlike the Arabs, they're not Arabs, they're Persian, they're Shia. Those young protesters, those young people who going out to the street, they suffered from the revolution, from the Islamic revolution. Just to remind to our audience, the first Islamic revolution in the Middle East took place in Iran. And afterwards, we saw the Muslim Brotherhood and what the West calling the Arab Spring and so on. So they were the pioneers to establish Islamic states like ISIS dream in the Middle East. So they controlling, they killing, they very cruel. I met in one of my documentary series, Salam Iran, I met those young people, those young Iranian, and they told me things that sometimes you can't imagine that this regime is doing such a things like he's doing today. So what we see now in Iran is the big challenge for the Ayatollah regimes. I just want to remind, for those who are not familiar with the Islam, that the Islam is split from his first century to Shia and Sunnah. It's actually a battle on leading the Islam. Who is going to lead after Muhammad passed away? His relatives, Ali and Hassan and Hussein, or his friends, his students. Since before 1,400 years, they still fighting. Since then, when they had a battle, when they killed Ali and Hassan and Hussein, the sons of Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, since then they're fighting between Iran, want to control the Islam, want to conquer Mecca. That's why all the Sunnis, the Arabs, the Emirates and the Saudi Arabians and all the others supporting Israel, quietly, of course, in what's happening between Israel and Iran. So we are watching in history. For the first time, there is a challenge. And I do believe, I want to believe, this is my wishful, that President Trump won't miss this opportunity, because Obama missed the opportunity in 2009. Afterwards, all the presidents missed it. President Trump, in his last in 2016, he didn't deal with the people in Iran. He dealt with the nuclear treaty agreement. Now President Trump, he see that the problem in the Middle East is the Ayatollah regimes. As long as they are controlling Iran, we in Israel have an existential threat. Israel going to be a safer place, I hope, Be'ezrat Hashem, in 2 or 3 weeks. Trump's supposed to do it. He's supposed to help them. Now they killing them in thousands in the streets, and this is the point that Trump's supposed to end this civil war or this demonstration, and to bring a new future for the 90 million Iranian that waiting for this moment.
Practically, how do you think Trump could help the situation? Just dropping bombs or whatever. What exactly? I know he put a tariff on any country that does business with Iran.
Yeah.
That's a good step. But what else could he do to help them?
In this time, in 2026, you don't need a boots on the ground. Sometimes you don't need to bomb Iran from B2 or 35. You just need to push it, and by tweeting, by supporting technological and cyber support, you can do it. The question is if you want to do it. I think that if President Trump and the American army want to do it, he can do it without a military intervention. You can do it in a smart way and in an easy way. And we will be very surprised to find out that they're so weak and we were afraid. It's exactly what happened to us, to the Israelis, in the war of the 12 days in the middle of June in the last year. After 22 years, we attacked Iran, and then we saw that it's not so horrible like we thought. We have here a war in Gaza. After 2 years, we can't demolish Hamas. So it will be more easier than we.
What would you say is the percentage of Iranians that support the Ayatollah and his regime?
When we're speaking about Ayatollah and the Iranian regime, first we have to understand that it's different from all the Arab countries that we know. It's called in Arabic, which means the clergy, the guys from the religious. I don't know how you say that, the sheikhs and the muftis, all those roles of that they represent the religious, they are controlling. Unlike the Muslim Brotherhood, that there is a sheikh in the mosque and a president in his palace. Those guys, Khamenei and all his consuls, are the clergy, the people that lead the religious. So they are built Iran in such a structures that there is the revolution guard, that their army, and they are given money, and they're controlling the money of and all the economic in Iran. I presume it's between 10% and 15% from the Iranian that they get in salaries and getting benefits from these regimes. It's a special army. It's not the Iranian army. It's the revolutionary guard of the Ayatollahs. Ayatollah mean the say of Allah, which mean the God speak them. They consider Khamenei as not less than Muhammad. So it's so holy, and the people that are around him are willing to sacrifice their life. So the good news that it's only between 10% and 15%. Bad news that they won't give up so quickly.
And it seems that the 10 to 15% are the ones that are armed, and the rest are unarmed. And I think in other revolutions we've seen in Arabic countries, like in Syria, you had an armed group that came through. Has there been a situation where unarmed people were able to take over a country, or would this be the first time?
It's very difficult, especially that this regime is preparing for such a scenarios since the 80s. Because when Khomeini controlled Iran in 1979, they immediately began a war against Iraq. Iran war, 80 years, almost 9 years, with 1.5 million people who've been killed from both sides. And afterwards, they continue to fight their people in all those waves of demonstration. They preparing to this moment. That's why because it's impossible by your hands to push out and to kick out such a regime. And the Iranian people, unlike the Syrian, for example, they're not a tribes like in the Arab Peninsula. They're not a tribes that they have their own arm and their own weapon. They more similar to the West. People who want to go to work, to the university, they admire United States. They admire Israel. So they don't have any weapons or like in Syria that they have military groups or Islamic military groups. They're just people. So this is the problem. They can't beat such a regime. That's why now, in this timing, they need help.
Why is it that instead of helping their own people, the Iranian regime spent billions and billions and billions of dollars just to destroy Israel? Why is that their number one priority according to Islam and according to anything else?
This is not number one. This is the way to number one. The number one goal for this regime is to control the Islam. That all the Sunnis, 90% from the Islam, will be vanished, will be slaughtered at the day that the Shia will prevail. That's why they spreading the idea of the Shia. They control the Lebanon country by Hezbollah. They control Yemen by the Houthis. They control Iraq after the American invasion to Iraq. The American did a democracy, and then we find out that they gave Iraq to the Ayatollahs in Iran. They controlling Yemen and Iraq and Hezbollah and even Gaza Strip. So they want to export the ideas of the revolution. This was Khomeini's main goal. The final destination is to raise up the Shia flag above the Kaaba, the most holy place for the Muslims, that it's located in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca. So this is the goal. They fight in Israel because we all know the rule in our neighborhood. If you fight Israel, everybody will admire you. So they going to fight Israel. They heading the nuclear power just to threat Israel, but eventually to conquer Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. That's why we have the Abraham Accords. Abraham Accords. It's because of this struggle. Because the Emirates, those Sunnis, those Arabs, they were afraid that one day the Iranian will reach to the bomb and they bomb them. The Iranian always saying, if we will have one bomb, we're not going to throw it on Israel. We're going to clash with Israel to conquer Saudi Arabia and Mecca. So this is the goal. That's why if President Trump and Israel, what Israel did in the 12 days war, they going to change the future of the Islam, not less. So this is an opportunity, historical opportunity, once in 1,500 years, if you want to see it. So this is the time when Trump will tell to the Muslim world, you can't do it by force. Leave the radical perceptions of weapon and religious. And afterwards, the Muslim Brotherhood, this is the second goal, because Qatar and Turkey, in the end of the day, my dear friend, the Islam want to conquer the world. You saw my documentary series. I sneaked in to those organizations, especially the Muslim Brotherhood, even in the United States, in Brooklyn, in Tampa, CARE, and all those organizations. They looks like, human rights organization, but don't we're not, we know that what is Hamas. They want to conquer the world. They want that Islam will prevail all over. Look what happened in Europe. They invited the immigrants, the Muslim immigrants, and now Europe facing a strategic problem for now and for their future.
So speak a little bit more about the undercover work that you did. What shocked you the most? And do you think it's much worse now than it was when you went in there to begin with?
I did four documentaries. The beginning was in 2011 when I published Allah Islam, the first invasion of the immigrants to Europe. And they told me in the mosques, in the streets, when I spoke with them, Arabic, of course, they told me exactly what the goal. We're gonna push Europe to the Sharia, the Islamic law. We're gonna do the quiet jihad. Just to explain what is a quiet jihad. There is a jihad that the Americans, they all familiar with this jihad. What happened in 9/11 in 2001 in New York. This is the noisy jihad, the familiar jihad, the violent jihad. Quiet jihad is to use your system, your democratic system, and slowly to conquer your house by your rules. Look what happened with Mamdani. It's exactly what happened in Mamdani. Eventually, the quiet jihad is more efficient and more, let's say, is more bringing all the results quickly. He bringing a lot of things that you can't imagine, like mayor in London, mayor in New York, and small tiny procedures that you can't see, but it's happening. Qatarian money for the universities, for research institutes, and so on, and what we see in the social media and so on. They and football and museums, whatever, money can do more than the weapon can do. So this is the jihad that I revealed. I entered there and I saw them using the dawah. Dawah is the quiet jihad. The democratic systems allow you to operate under their rules. So eventually, the West are not aware to this danger. They're not aware because they don't know how it's work. In those series, in the second series, I was pretend myself as a Muslim Brotherhood sheikh that want to donate to all those mosques in New York and in Virginia, Tampa. And I said to them, I'm from the Middle East. I have money. You need? They said, great. We need this money for this and this and this. So it's some kind of system that now, only now, the world beginning to awake. Like we heard before a few hours that the Muslim Brotherhood are not allowed to, it's illegal in Lebanon and in Cairo. It's the easy job. What about the Muslim Brotherhood in Turkey? What about the Muslim Brotherhood in Qatar with Al Jazeera? That they pushing this ideology for the Middle East. I do believe that the West they're gonna wake. They're gonna wake up. And you asked me about if I was surprised. It's exactly what happened to me at the morning of Simchat Torah and 7th of October here in Bat Ain, Gush Etzion, when they told me there is a war. Are you surprised? I told them, I'm not surprised by Hamas. I know what they're going to do because I know them. I live with them. I covered them for 30 years. I was surprised by the Israeli sleeping, by the Israeli ignorance, by the Israeli intelligence dreams about the climate crisis and so on. So the same answer is here. I'm not surprised from the Arabs. They're supposed to do it. I'm not surprised by the radical Islam and the quiet jihad. They're supposed to do it. I'm very surprised from the West that it's supposed to be, the place of liberalism and a strong place for the free world, that he opened his doors for those immigrants without checking, without supervision, without nothing. It reminded me of my conversation in the car of the sheriff of Dearborn. We're sitting together and I told him, Sheriff Ron Haddad, I told him, I was in the mosque and they against United States. Are you worried about it? And he said to me, Sheriff Ron, I'm not worried because if there's something to tell me, they will come to tell me. It was so funny that he thinks that they are American first. No. They are Muslim first. And they are the identity Muslim religious identity of them will lead them eventually to a clash. And now we see this clash all over.
And you see countries like Poland, for example, that they close it off to illegal immigrants, and they're flourishing when it comes to there's no crime and everything.
Hungary as well.
Hungary, yeah. So do you think it's too late in Europe for the West, to wake up, or have they already taken over? And what about America? Do you think we're still sleeping in America?
The issue of Europe is different from the Americans story. There is countries in Europe that they pass the red line, let's say. This country that there is no growth of population of original population. Small countries like Denmark and Holland and Belgium and Sweden, especially, that they are slowly will be green. The other three main countries, Britain, France, and Germany, it's combining between waking up, and they are very large countries, but most of the Muslims in the cities. I do believe that one day it will become to sort of a clash of civil war or clash between groups, whites and immigrants somehow. But in the small countries, as I mentioned, it's irreversible. It's irreversible. It will be slowly by agreements that allow us to live our life and take the municipality, take the money, and let's talk about Belgium 30 years from now. All the majority in the schools are immigrants, and even in Holland. So Europe, part of Europe, crossed the red line. In the United States, it's a different story because they're not a lot of population. It's a 2-3% from the Americans, but they still entering the political system. And I do believe that the Americans have a wide range of tools to deal with now in these days. But take, for example, Muhammad Khalil, this guy from the Columbia University that was in sight for all the demonstration. Until now, President Trump can't deport him. He can't deport him because your justice system still see it as a democratic issue. One day, the Americans will be, let's say, will be aware to the fact that you can be democratic, hyper democratic, super democratic in your country, in your life, but very cruel and very non-democratic towards those actions that attack you. At the moment that the Americans will see the quiet jihad as an attack, they will attack back financially and so on. But they're still not there, unfortunately.
We know that Qatar is a very dangerous country, and they're playing different roles. They were the hostage negotiators, they're hosting Hamas, they're friends with America, they're funding the institutions. Is there anything that can be done about Qatar at this point? It seems like they're buying the narrative in America to be anti-Israel. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, when they ask me about what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to do with Qatar, I'm always saying first, like my teacher in the second grade told me about mathematics problem. First, be aware and be familiar with the problem. Be familiar what you're heading. Be familiar with your enemy. Qatar, very sophisticated enemy. They only 500,000 people, not more, even less. But they're controlling by their economy and money a lot of things in our world. Even in my kids, my kids living in Gush Etzion. Yesterday they watched a football team of Barcelona and Real Madrid, and it's all Qatarian money. Paris Saint-Germain and the football and Qatar Airways and Emirates. The money going to things that you can't realize that this is Islamic and dawah. Like President Trump said, thank you for an aircraft, $400 million. You can't say no. At the moment we will realize how's Qatar operating by buying a Formula One, by buying museum arts, by buying universities. There is a Jewish professor, his name is Charles Small. I think you know him. He can tell you more. He's from Yale University. He can tell you how the Qatarian buying the academic world, the academic, most powerful universities in United States, the 8 universities, they buy it by money. At the moment, you will see the Qatarian metrics, let's say, at the moment, you will understand what you're supposed to do. Up to now, we are just small soldiers in their game. So this this frustration of Israel was so justified, but they are moderating and they try to speak about our hostages. You are funding Hamas. You are giving Hamas a shelter. You're giving Hamas money to do the 7 October. It's a double game. They're so hypocrites. And I'm not the only one who say it. But it's very difficult to say it towards Qatar because Qatar are smiling. They're so nice. Trump loved them. For the people who know what is radical Islam, what is Muslim Brotherhood, Qatar, it's more dangerous than Iran. Because Iran, you see, they're evil. They're evil. Qatar are not chanting every Friday, death to Israel, death to America. They said, welcome America, welcome Israel. And this is more dangerous.
In the time that we have left, maybe you can tell me, the last 2 years, is Israel stronger now than they were before October 7th? What are the things that we have accomplished? And what else is there that we need to do?
In the Middle East, it was Ahmad Yassin, the founder of Hamas, says at the 80s when Israeli helped him to establish Hamas, because we didn't know this Hamas. We thought he's gonna be our collaborator to bring quiet. one of our big values. So Ahmed Yassin used to say that it's not a matter of what weapon you're holding, it's a matter how you operate it. It's not a matter of what, or it's a matter of how. So I will answer in the same answer. The Israelis got amazing weapon, but from the 7th of October, we know how to operate it. We know what is the situation, what is the real danger. That's why we're stronger. We're stronger because the Israeli people, look what happened in the Israeli society, in the Jewish society. People are more getting close to their Jewish identity. Look what happened to me. I wasn't like you see now as a semi-rabbi. I was a secular. At the moment that the terrorist told me I'm going to kill you, Zacharias Beatty, I can send you the link, show it to your audience, and all my series with an English translation I will give you. He said to me, I want to kill you. I said, why, Zachariah? We are friends. He said, I want to kill a Jew. I said, I'm not a Jew. I'm an Israeli. I'm a journalist. He said, no, you're stupid. You're a Jew, and I want to kill you. And you're stupid because I'm going to kill you, and you are not going to know why. This is the main motive of terror, religious. At the moment that the Western world will understand that we in a religious clash, like Samuel Huntington used to say, we're not a open world. There is a clash. Let's admit it. It's a clash between Islam and the West. At the moment you see it, then you're more powerful because you know where to operate and how to operate your weapon. And that's what happened in Israel. That's why we're stronger. That's why since 7 October, Nasrallah is not here, Yahya Sinwar is not here, and Bezrat Hashem, the Iranian regime, until Purim, in Purim we're going to hang Haman. There's the same family. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and we didn't complete the job because we have Hamas, we have Hezbollah, but we are a different player. We are different people. Now we are stronger and with a lot of belief and with our back to the wall. That's how the Israeli Jewish people are working. Only when the danger are coming in front of you.
Exactly. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for everything that you do for, the Jewish people, state of Israel. God bless you. And hopefully we can speak again another time.
I hope I will have a time to be with you again. First things. Second, I can send you the link for all the documentaries and for my Telegram and my WhatsApp channels. You can open your eyes. I have a special program in Israel, the Core Arabist team. It's like an Arab experts that see the Middle East. And it's very popular because many Israelis and Jews want to study Arabic, to study the Middle East, to study Islam. It's a duty of all, I think, of all the Western citizens. So thank you that you are speaking with me. And I hope that we are slowly toward the Geulah.
Amen. Thank you.